All right, folks, we're going to walk through Excel 2-3, which is our final pause and practice for Chapter 2. Make sure that you have the file from 2-2 because you're going to need those calculations in order for 2-3 to work. Okay, so we are going to start with step number 2. We've already got our file saved. So jumping to step number 2, it says to go to the rental days worksheet tab. So I'm going to jump over to that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to join some text together. So it tells us to click in cell G5, and then we're going to go up to our formulas tab, and we're going to go into our functions library, and we're going to click the text button, and we're going to go down and find text join. Now, the first thing it's going to ask you for is a delimiter. And for us, what we're going to use is a comma space. So that's what we're going to put in between the pieces of information that we're joining. So we'll go to text box 1. We're just going to ignore empty there. And text box 1, we're going to choose cell A5. And then in text box 2, we're going to choose cell C5. So we'll pick that. And then once we have that done, we're going to press OK. And you can see, oops, it didn't quite take my info. Okay, I'm missing a step here. So if that happens to you, no problem. Just delete. You can start again. So we'll go to our text. We'll go down to text join. Our delimiter again is going to be a space, a comma and a space. Text 1 is going to be A5. Text 2 is going to be C5. And then we'll click OK. And there we go. We've got our Chalet Soleil, comma, space, Indiana. Next, letter H tells us to use the fill pointer to copy our formula over. Now, you won't be able to double click your fill pointer to make it go down like we have before because Excel needs the data in the adjacent cells. So just use your fill pointer, drag that down, and then we're going to auto fit. And remember to auto fit, we just click between the G and the H columns, double click with the left side of our mouse clicker, and that auto fits it for us. Next, in step 4, we're going to use concat to display names and totals in a cell. So we're going to click cell I5, and we're going to click our text button. And we're going to go down and look for concat, C-O-N-C-A-T. And then we get our text button, or excuse me, our text boxes. So that first box, text 1, we're going to say that's B5. In the next box, we're going to type a comma and a space. So we don't have a delimiter here. We're just going to use it in a text box. And then text box 3, we're going to choose D5. And after we've chosen that, we've got our information. We're going to click OK. And you can see that it put our information just as we entered. We're going to use our fill pointer to drag and copy. And then we're going to do auto fit again to make sure those all fit nicely. So we've done, oh, I missed one. Check that out. Okay, so if you miss one like I did, no problem. Just use your fill pointer and copy it down, and you're good to go there. All right, we're going to press Control Home to take us to the top of our worksheet. I'm going to pause us, and then we'll come back to work on step number 5. So take a moment, pause your video if you need, and then we'll be back to work on step number 5. Step number 5 asks us to use our SUMIF to calculate some results. So we're going to go down to our guest data sheet, and we're going to click into cell H4, and we're going to go to the math and trig functions. Nobody freak out about that trigonometry, okay? Remember that Excel is going to do the math for you. We're going to go down to SUMIF. All right, we'll click on that, and then we have our ranges that we need to enter. So for our first range, I'm just going to type that in. It's going to be B4 all the way to B38. My criteria that I'm going to be using is going to be, oh, I forgot. we've got to make this an absolute reference on the range. So once you have your range entered, just do your F4 to make that an absolute reference. Our criteria is going to be G, and what we're pulling that from is the solo or group section there. And then we're going to click the sum range box, and we're going to type C4 to C38 as our range. So C4 colon C38 is our range. We want to make that also an absolute reference. So we're going to press F4 on our keyboard so that those dollar signs show up to indicate that that's an absolute reference. Now we're ready to click OK, and we can double check with our instructions that our result is 76. So we did it. Next, the instructions on letter I tell us to click cell H4 and use our fill pointer to copy that down to cell H5. Now, we need to edit the formula in cell H5 because remember, we used our criteria of G for those group total days, but now we're working on the solo total days. So we're just going to change that criteria from G to S in our formula bar. So you can type it into your formula down here, or preferably you can type it in your formula bar up top. When I press enter, it calculates or recalculates my total solo days. And so Excel does that math for me there. Next, we're going to press Control and Home to take us back up to the top. We'll pause one more time to let you get caught up on that, and we'll come back for number 6, the sum product, to calculate our startup costs. Okay, number 6 is all about calculating the sum product for our startup costs. So we're going to go to our startup sheet. And once we have that opened, we're going to go to cell C16. And then we're going to go again to that math and trig set of formulas. And we're going to look up sum product. So we'll scroll down to the S's and we'll click on sum product. And you'll see it asks us again for array of information. So array is just the information that we need to pull in for our calculation. Array number 1, I'm going to type in the cell range of C4 to C14, and then I'm going to drop my cursor down to array 2, and that range of data is going to be D4 to D14. And once I've got those typed in, I'm just going to click OK, and it pulls my information for me at 364.43. Then I'm going to click cell C17, and I'm going to start typing my formula, SUMP for sum product, and then I'm just going to press Tab, and it starts to build that formula for me. Now my ranges are going to be the same. C4 all the way to C14 is going to be that first array. And then my second array is going to be E4 to E14. Now you can see when I type those ranges in, they highlight for me. So you don't need to actually type your closing parentheses here. You can just press enter and it's going to calculate the information for you. Next, let's double check our amount. Yes, 694.86. So we are good to go there. Letter K on number 6 asks us to select cells C16 and 17 and apply the accounting number format, which is on the Home tab. And under the Numbers section, we're going to choose Accounting. This time it didn't ask us to remove any decimal points, so we'll leave that as is. Now we're going to move on to number 7, which is to use a rounding function. And we're going to click in cell C19. We're going to go to our Formulas tab, click Math and Trig. We're going to go down to find the round, R-O-U-N-D formula. And then it asks us for our number. And so the number that we want to round or perform the rounding function on is going to be, in this case, C16. And then in the number of digits. So how many digits do we want to round this up or round it to? We're going to say 0, and then we're going to press enter. Then we can see that our value is rounded down to $364. We're going to do the same formula. So we're just going to copy that down into C20. And we can see that that rounds to 695. We're going to press our Control Home, and then we have finished up the pause and practice for Excel Chapter 2. Don't forget to save this file because you'll be submitting this pause and practice into our course shell so that you can earn your credit for the pause and practice. Thanks, everybody.